I feel like we should leave the big one till the end.
Ooh. Hey, everybody, stick around if you want to hear about Nosferatu.
I feel like we should talk about Nosferatu last because it is like the biggest movie of this year.
Well, another movie that is, in a sense, the biggest movie of this year is Foolish Wives, which was, it seems to have been, and maybe was at least marketed this way as the most expensive movie so far, or at least the first $1 million picture.
Yeah.
It is by
Eric von Stroheim.
Eric von Stroheim. Which made me think that this was a German movie, and then I realized that it's an American movie.
No. Yeah, he was an Austrian immigrant. He was born in Austria and moved to the United States. An interesting thing was when he immigrated to the U.S., he pretended to be a count. Eric von Stroheim is just a guy. Like, he has no royal family history. But he pretended to be when he first moved to the U.S., and that is basically what this movie is about. It's a con artist movie.
Yeah. It's about some kind of people who are pretending to be Russian royalty, a family of Russian royalty, who are trying to get their way into high society in Monte Carlo.
Monte Carlo.
So that they can rip people off and steal their money.
Yeah. Watching this movie, I'm like, oh wow, there are a lot of cool like location shooting in Monte Carlo. Great big buildings, like it's very, very lavish. And then I realized, researching it later, they shot this entirely in California, and they just built Monte Carlo.
Which is why it was so expensive.
Yeah.
Like watching this movie, and granted, this movie was originally supposed to be 10 hours long, and it was cut down to 2.5.
I don't know. I wonder about that too, of like, did they shoot 10 hours of footage and then just cut from that? Or was it actually intended to be 10 hours long?
They shot like 300,000 feet of footage or more, which I think like after it was like cut down to like stuff they wanted to use in the movie, it was like 200,000 something. It like, I don't know exactly how many minutes that ends up being, but like he intended the movie to be real long and seen over the course of 2 nights.
Okay.
It's and they had to like wrestle him out of the editing bay because he kept he kept like making it longer.
Yeah.
Eric von Stroheim, the more that I read about him, the more of a wild guy he seems to be.
Oh yeah. He seems to be, he's kind of I feel like he is almost this like quintessential like early Hollywood figure of this like, heavily accented, very demanding sort of egotistical director who walks around in jodhpurs with a monocle and is like, we must make the picture longer. And so I don't know, I just think it's interesting that there's almost this like cliche like stock character of the like German director making silent movies in Hollywood, that it's like, that's just this guy.
Yeah. I saw someone on RogerEbert.com talking about this movie, and this was written in August 2022, and he compared this director to Kanye in his egotism, which I don't know exactly when all of this Kanye stuff really took an extreme turn for the worse, but it must have been right after that. I don't think you'd be invoking Kanye in the same way that we have invoked Kanye for the last 15 years today.
Oh no, yeah, very different.
This is one of the ways that. Sorry, one of the ways that he is being egotistical is that in this movie, they're reading, this movie's called Foolish Wives, it's written and directed and starring Eric von Stroheim, and then someone is picking up and reading a book called Foolish Wives, written by Eric von Stroheim, in the movie.
That's a ballsy move. It made me think, oh, did he write a book and then adapted it? And I'm like, that's still a ballsy move to be like, I adapted my own book and the book is in the movie. But the fact that there isn't a real book, that there's just this fictional book within the movie called Foolish Wives that's also called Foolish Wives is somehow even weirder than
I
that.
mean, apparently he claimed that it was a real book. He never wrote it, but he put it in the movie and told people that he was adapting it from his own book. This guy is insane.
I mean, he kind of was a con artist himself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's definitely a lot of kind of like self-reflexive, like self-mirroring going on in this movie.
Self-reporting, as the kids
Yeah.
say.
And I don't know, it is a very kind of like lavish, indulgent movie. Both the sort of like production of it, the runtime of it, everything about it's a movie about, rich people trying to do rich people stuff. It's a lot of very old-timey rich person activities.
Eating caviar.
Eating caviar,
Which he
hanging
insisted was real caviar that he was eating.
hanging out at restaurants while shooting birds, hanging out in cool boats, drinking ox blood for breakfast.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that.
Maybe that was just a thing that people did in Monte Carlo. I don't know. I mean, this movie's kind of this movie's more of a romp than I expected it to be. I expected this movie to be kind of long and dry, and it's pretty. It seems intentionally kind of silly at times. Like, there's definitely a lot of comedy and just hijinks going on.
At times. I mean, I think that this is still a little dry. I kind of thought of this as like similar like subject matter and pacing to an opera, which also like kind of checks out with his whole like this needs to be long and you watch it over 2 nights, like the Ring cycle or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, this movie is kind of famously even the version of it that we watched is like cut down from what I think even not even the 10-hour one, but there was like a 6-hour one that he wanted to release that I think did actually get screened at least once or twice.
This movie does feel cut down. Like it's long, but there are scenes, and this is partially parts of it are missing and that kind of thing. But there are things that just kind of come out of nowhere in this movie that seem like very clearly were probably more established in a longer cut.
I do think it also a lot of things about it feel very indulgent, and it there's plenty of times where it uses like 3 or 4 shots of something when I feel like one would do. But it is still there's definitely some kind of like visual stuff that is I feel like somewhat forward thinking in terms of how it's being presented. Of just like visual stuff we haven't really seen a lot of before. There's like right in the first scene, there's a sort of like tilt up POV reveal shot of someone. Which is like a very basic thing, but is still feels sort of a bit new at this point.
Yeah, another kind of shot that seemed like from the future a little bit that I saw was like an over the shoulder dialogue shot, like a 2 shot.
There's a bunch of those in this movie.
Yeah, I think that's you don't see that kind of thing in movies from this time. I don't think I've seen that before.
There's a scene that's lit with light coming through Venetian blinds, the kind of classic like film noir look of the like slatted light coming through.
Yeah.
That looks great. I don't think we've seen that in anything before this.
It's really dramatic lighting.
I don't necessarily think that this movie invented it, but I think it's the first time that we've come across it on the show.
And one other thing that like is definitely like, it's something that someone could have always done, but it kind of called out to me was there's one point where one of the husbands of the Foolish Wives is looking at a note that the Count wrote to one of the women, and his blood is boiling because he knows that the Count is trying to like seduce his wife and scam her, and he holds the note and then like a superimposed image of the Count's face, like laughing, his like monocled, uh, his
Yeah.
monocled face, just like ah ha 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 ha, like on top of the money. Uh,
Yeah.
that was a fun shot as well.
There is an element to this movie that, like, the Count looks really ridiculous in a way that I think he looked less ridiculous in 1922. I think he's meant to look a little ridiculous, but, like, especially now, he looks like, I don't know, like a submarine captain or something. He's got a monocle. He's got this, like, bright white uniform with medals on it. He's got jodhpurs.
A
He's, like,
very
always
long
carrying...
cigarette.
Yeah, very... Not a cigarette holder, just a really long cigarette. He has a cane. He has a monocle. He just looks like kind of like a Looney Tunes villain. I'm sure there's some Looney Tunes where there's a Eric von Stroheim caricature. This movie is basically about the 1920s equivalent of the like Nigerian prince email scam of like I'm like a rich wealthy person, like give me a little bit of money so I can, bring my fortune here or whatever. And then and this movie is pretty plotty. I don't think we need to go through all the machinations of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Being a sort of con artist movie, it has a lot of different. He's like this guy, the Count. I forget his whole. He has this insanely long title. I'm just gonna call him Eric von Stroheim. But he's like scamming all these people. His big thing is that he like seduces women, right? That's like his go-to.
And he's got some kind of sitcom-y things with like, oh, I gotta please this lady and keep this one from not knowing about the other one.
Yeah. I gotta trap this lady in an old creepy house with a witch, because that's how you win over a woman.
That was a strange segment.
Yeah, that was a very strange segment. There is a shot in that I think is really great where he is like creepily holding up a mirror to his face to watch the woman getting undressed behind him. Mm-hmm. And so you can like see her reflected in the mirror at the same time as his face.
Yeah.
As he's being a creep. Which is just a really great shot of like combining all those things within a single frame. And then I was sort of wondering like how much is this movie aware of how creepy this is? Of like, is this being presented as just a normal thing or not? But then the fact that it immediately kind of undercuts that with a goat butt kind of like moving into his field of view, and he has to like push a goat out of the way. I'm like, all right, he's at least somewhat aware, I think, of like the comedy of this movie and the sort of absurdity of a lot of it.
Yeah, I would say that it's primarily a drama, but there are comedic moments.
Yeah. There's a weird recurring gag with the bodyguard who has no arms.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't find out until the end that because there's this repeated thing where like someone will drop something and the bodyguard won't pick it up. And it's like, what the hell, man? You're standing right there. And then at the end you find out he doesn't have any arms.
I didn't realize that was the same guy every time. I thought it was just like a motif about ladies dropping their jackets. But that's good.
Fun bit of trivia, the actor who plays that guy is named Harrison Ford.
Wow. Amazing.
But so there's all this con artist stuff, and then one of the things that does feel very like one of the things that feels pretty missing from the movie is that the Count is killed at the end, but it happens off screen, which is really weird.
Yeah.
You'd think that they would have at least shot that,
Yeah, and it's like maybe they just cut it out in a way that I don't know was really not well done, I suppose.
Yeah. A thing that I read, I don't know if this is actually true, but I hope it is that the scene as written was that he's murdered and then dumped in the sewer. And we see his body dumped into a sewer. But after that, we were supposed to see the body like going through the sewers underneath Monte Carlo and getting flushed out into the ocean, where it was then eaten by an octopus. Which,
oh my god!
Again, I don't know how true that is. I don't know if they ever shot that. I don't know how made up any of it is, but I really wish that that was in the movie because I want to see it.
Um, a couple like small moments from this movie. The kind of main woman that he's trying to scam, just like a
Hmm.
princess, or no, she's an American.
Yeah. She is married to, I think, like a senator or like some bigwig American politician.
And she's she's trying to like seduce her and get her in a situation and like get her emotions in a situation where she'll give him lots of money. And so they start hanging out, and the guy she's married to is getting all jealous, and she's trying to navigate that. And she says, well, I'm free, white, and 21. um, I could do what I want. And then the guy says, well, I'm married, sunburned, and 41. Which is a wild exchange for a number of reasons.
Yeah. There is, I think this movie is also like, there's a lot more dialogue than we're used to seeing, even though it's all intertitles. Like,
Hmm.
there's a lot of talking in this movie.
Yeah. There's a lot of talking, and there's also just a lot of, like, very flowery intertitles.
Oh, yeah.
Very,
Oh, yeah.
it's, you know, we're just trying to set the scene of it being nighttime, and it's talking about, like,
Oh, my God.
it's talking about, like, the nature of man or whatever.
Yeah. No, it's like, it is laughable how sort of like flowery the intertitles of this movie are. Like, I think this movie takes the cake for like most overwritten intertitles over whatever. Like, I think Intolerance was probably the winner before.
Oh, yeah, with Intolerance with its, like, paragraph markers and
Yeah,
stuff.
Jesus. Yeah. But I don't know. I think this movie is sort of the. It's not as self serious as like D.W. Griffith movies are. There's a bit more levity, and it's a bit more. It's just a bit more wild, I
Yeah.
guess, in terms of like what is being put on screen, and just kind of the overall tone of it.
I mean, speaking of, Eric von Stroheim got his start in a major way by working with D.W. Griffith.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, he was in one of the movies that we watched. I think uncredited as like a German soldier.
He also, yeah, I mean,
He played a lot of German soldiers in World War One propaganda movies.
and yeah, he started off as a stuntman. Like, he kind of like worked his way up to director.
Yeah.
But I think he was. I read somewhere that he was like assistant directing on Intolerance at a point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think again, sort of like unofficially or uncredited,
Yeah.
but like that's actually what he was doing.
Yeah, D.W. Griffith would not credit anyone who helped him. There's a kind of fun fight toward the end of this movie where the husband of the kind of main woman he's scamming confronts him, and he finds him in a casino. And then he yells at him, "Take off your monocle!" And then the husband socks him in the face, and he goes, "Go to hell."
um,
Yeah.
there is another just bit of random trivia about this movie. There's an episode of the Young Indiana Jones TV show from the 90s, where a young Indiana Jones is hired to like wrangle Eric von Stroheim into finishing this movie.
Oh, wow.
So if you want to see a fictional depiction of this movie being made, you can find that episode on YouTube somewhere.
That's awesome. I want to watch that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I thought this movie isn't great. Like, there's definitely a lot of sort of like arguably pretty misogynistic shit in it.
Oh, sure.
But I don't know. I had fun with it. It was actually it was more entertaining than I expected it to be. I expected it to be kind of a slog to get through just because I knew it was old and indulgent, and I was like, oh boy. And it was more fun than I expected.
Yeah, I mean, there were fun elements. I thought I didn't think it was bad, but I thought it was like okay.
Yeah.
And it I mean, honestly, like the indulgences are so much of like a behind the scenes thing because this movie would not have been the most expensive movie made up to this point if they just shot on location.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
like, like you're not. The thing is, like, you're not really even like seeing the budget so much because the budget is being spent on ridiculous things, like recreating
Yeah.
Monte Carlo in Hollywood and the actors eating real caviar on set.
And I think even like the costumes, like he required that like people, all like the rich people wore actual like silk underwear or whatever, and it's just like you're never gonna, And that's always a question with filmmaking of like, is it worth spending money on all this stuff that isn't gonna show up on screen but might sort of like affect the atmosphere of it,
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, he wanted the Monaco money to be so realistic that he used real like counterfeiting practices
Yeah.
to make the money, and then got like briefly arrested during the movie.
Yeah, there is a lot of fun behind the scenes stuff about this movie too, just like how absurdly kind of lavish the production was.
Learning from his
Right. Yeah. His former boss.
yeah. I
Yeah.
was the word I was searching for is something other than senpai, but I didn't want to say senpai. All right, let's move on.